Okay, boss. So you practice transformations. Okay. Good. Now we're getting into concept called DSO. Now we've been already using targets like, and one more. Okay, let's come to that later. We've been using two targets. One is master attribute text. Then we've been using what? Cube. Hierarchies we have not yet used. We did not load them yet. So we'll go with DSO. Then we'll finish up with hierarchies. So same like, see, when it comes to cube, what you're doing, you're just creating some inf objects, grouping those inf objects and creating a cube as per your design, and then loading the data and then designing a report. Same way, you can create inf objects, group those inf objects, but create an object called DSO. In 3.x, we were calling it as ODS, now we call it as DSO. Now focus on this. So like cube, DSO is again another data container. When I say data container, which can hold data into it, and it's a flat structure. When I say flat, cube is a multidimensional object with fact table, dimension tables, all this. But your DSO is a flat structure. It's just like a table with rows and columns. Like it's like when you create a ODS, it's just creating a normal table. That's it, with rows and columns here. And DSO works with override functionality. Default is override, but I can still set that to additive function. What about cube? Cube is additive, right? But ODS default is override, but I can still set it to additive also. Yeah. Okay, boss. Now we have different types of DSO or ODS. In 3.x we had standard and what? Transactional. But in 7 we have standard DSO, directable DSO, and then what? Write optimized. Now we are focusing on standard one. We'll come to the other types later. Yeah. Now focus on this. Okay, we are focusing on, in 3.x we call it as ODS, but in 7 we call it as DSO, data store object. We are focusing on standard ODS or standard DSO now. And it's a two-dimensional object. Can you see this now? Okay, it's a two-dimensional object, and then it is a day target now. When it's a day target, what does it mean? Can I load data to this DSO through DTP and info package? Yes, it's a day target, and it is an info provider. Means what? Can I design reporting on top of this? Yes. Like how we can create a BEX queries on top of cube, we can also go about creating a BEX query on top of DSO also. Okay, we can do reporting. Okay, and it works. What is the major difference? Cube works with additive, but DSO default is override, but you can still set it to additive also. Good. Now when you create a cube and activate, does it create multiple tables in the backend? How many tables will it create? 6 depends. 16 dimensional tables and 1 fact table depending on the requirement. So it actually creates fact table and dimensional tables. So the same way, when you define or when you activate a standard DSO, okay, standard ODS, it actually creates 3 tables. One is called as active table, one is called as new table, and one is called as change log table. One is new table, active table, and then change log. Okay. Look at this. For the active data table, this is the naming. /BI, see if it is custom DSO. 0 in case of standard business content DSO. /A means A is fixed. XXXX is nothing but ODS name, and 00. If you have the table ending with 00 is your active table, and table name ending with 40 is your new data table. And for change log, there is no fixed naming, but we know the table name starts with /BAC/B000 and some number like PSN table. It forms some number like that. Okay, boss. Now when we have 3 tables in the DSO, when you do reporting, from which table does it take? That's the point. Now when you say ODS, it actually contains 3 tables, right? And when I create a BEX query on top of it and run in, from which table does it fetch from? Active table. So whatever the data we have in active table, that is going to come for your reporting on DSO. DSO మీద రిపోర్టింగ్ చేస్తే యాక్టివ్ టేబుల్లో డేటా ఏముందో అదే రిపోర్టింగ్ వస్తుంది, అది కాన్సెప్ట్. ఓకేనా బస్ పైన. ఇప్పుడు నాకు వీ హావ్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ మోర్ ఆన్ ఇంకా డీటెయిల్స్ చెప్తాను. We should understand what is important, why new table, why change log table, why active table, all this we have to understand now. Let's say I am creating a ODS with the naming like this. What is ZO sales, and this is your what? Description. Normally when you are creating cube, do you specify dimensions, characteristics, key figures, right? Correctly kaadu. While creating DSO, you only specify key fields, data fields. You might create DSO with 200 infobics, fine. But out of those 200 infobics, which infobics you want them as key fields, which infobic you want them as data fields have to be specified. Ante the infobics what you specify as key fields are nothing but like a primary key fields. Actually it's like a table, right? Infobics what you specify as key fields are like primary key in my DSO. Infobics what you specify in the data fields are like non-key columns in my DSO, non-primary key columns. నేను ఏమన్నా ఓడేస్ అనేది నార్మల్ ఫ్లాట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ టేబుల్ లాగా, ఏ ఇన్ఫోబిక్స్ అయితే నువ్వు కీ ఫీల్డ్స్లో పెడితే ప్రైమరీ కీ లాగా అన్నట్టు, డేటా ఫీల్డ్స్లో పెడితే అది నాన్ ప్రైమరీ కీ కాలమ్స్ అన్నట్టు. ఓకేనా బస్. అండ్ మ్యాక్సిమం నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ కీ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఇస్ 16 అండ్ మ్యాక్సిమం ఆఫ్ డేటా ఫీల్డ్స్ ఇస్ 749. కీ ఫీల్డ్స్ మ్యాక్సిమం బికాస్ మ్యాక్సిమం ప్రైమరీ కీ కాంపోజిట్ కీ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఓన్లీ విత్ వాట్ 16 columns. That's why we are limited to use only 16 key fields. And all the 16 can act as primary key in my table. And the data fields max is 740. That is the limitation of the database. Okay. You getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So like this. And one more point. Can I use key figure in key fields? No. Only characteristic infobic. Time characteristic or normal characteristic or unit I can use. But key figure can never come in as primary. Can ever you will use key figure as primary key? Never, right? Yeah. Okay. Now let's try to understand the architecture. Now let's assume you create a ODS with this structure. What is this? Customer and cal month as my key fields. Region, amount, currency as my data fields. E structure to define this one. I have defined my DSO ZO sales with customer number and cal month as my key fields, and region, amount, currency as my data fields, and I have activated it. When activate, does it create 3 tables in the backend? Yes. Now what will be the structure of the 3 tables, how it is used, we'll see. Let's after this, now it creates these 3 tables like this. You'll have to 3 tables. Okay. Now what is it? First table is what? New table. What is the naming convention of your new table? /bi C or 0 and /a ODS name 40. Yeah. So when my ODS name is ZO underscore sales, what should be my active table name? /bi C because it is custom object /a ZO underscore sales 40. That will be your new table. That is the name of your table. That is table name. Sorry. What fields do you have in the table? What will be the structure of the table? Table ఏమేం కాలమ్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఏ కాలమ్స్ ప్రైమరీకి అట్లా స్ట్రక్చర్ ఏంది, దాని డెఫినేషన్ ఏంది అన్నట్టు. ఓకే. లుక్ అట్ దిస్. ఇఫ్ లుక్ అట్ ద డెఫినేషన్ ఆఫ్ ద న్యూ టేబుల్, ఇట్ విల్ హ్యావ్ ఆల్ కీ ఫీల్డ్స్, ఇట్ విల్ హ్యావ్ ఆల్ డేటా ఫీల్డ్స్, వన్ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఫీల్డ్ కాల్డ్ రికార్డ్ మోడ్, అండ్ 3 టెక్నికల్ కీస్: రిక్వెస్ట్ నంబర్, డేటా ప్యాకెట్, రికార్డ్ నంబర్. In fact, it is not actually request number, it is actually the SID of the request. So active table fixed get untayi, all key fields, all data fields, and one field called record mode. I'll tell you what it is. Then 3 technical keys: SID of the request, or for now you understand as request number, then data packet, record number. And in this table, these 3 are primary key. Which one? Data packet, record number, packet number, request number, data record number are 3 are the primary key in this table. At primary key fields. Okay, that's the structure of my table. Okay. Then it creates one more table called what? Active table. Naming is again what? /bic slash O Z1 underscore sales 00. That will be your active table. And for active table, it will have key fields, data fields and record mode. Key fields will be primary key, data fields and record mode will be non-primary key columns. That's why customer and column are primary key in this table. Region, amount, currency are non-key columns, and record mode is again another non-key column. Which is, what is it? Active table. There will be one more table called what? I said change log. Change log table will have key fields, data fields, record mode, plus 4 technical keys: activation request, data packet number, record number, partition number. And these technical keys, activation request, packet number, record number, partition number, will be primary key in this table. This is how you will understand why this is okay. These are the 3 tables are created. Okay. Now let me give you the importance of each of the. What is the importance of each of this table? Let's say you create a DSO. Let's have created a DSO and which will have the 3 tables internally in the backend. And can I extract data from a file and load into those DSO like how you load it to Cube? Same, no difference at all. Data source, connect data source and DSO with the help of transformations, info package, DDP. Same, no. Cube get over the DSO could atle kottarsindi. Okay, Navas? Okay, let's say you built up the complete data flow. You've triggered info package. Let's say you've triggered DDP. Let's say you're loading 3 records or some, let's say 2 records. When you run the DDP, those 2 records are loaded first into new tables. Whatever the data you load into the DSO through DDP, the data first enters into which table was? New table was. Okay. Let's say when you run the DDP, generate one request number, let's say R1. So in the new table, it will have request number R1, data packet 1, record number 1. What is the record? Same request, same packet, but record number is 2. What is the record? After and record, which table? A table ko say new table. New table ko say. They also call it as activation queue and good. They call it as new table as what? Activation queue and a queue which is in queue for activation. Yeah. Okay. Okay, boss. But when I do logically, when I do reporting, from which table should it pick from? Active table. Right? So when I run my DDP, it has loaded data into what? New table. But when I do reporting, where does data come from? Active table. Now can I consider the request being successful? Logical ఆలోచించాము. DTP రన్ చేస్తే న్యూ టేబుల్కి డేటా వచ్చింది. నువ్వు రిపోర్టింగ్ కొట్టి ఏ టేబుల్ నుంచి డేటా వస్తుంది? యాక్టివ్ టేబుల్. అంటే యాక్టివ్ టేబుల్కి ఇంకా డేటా పోలే కదా, పోలేదు కాబట్టి రిక్వెస్ట్ గ్రీన్ అని ఒప్పుకుంటుందా? రిక్వెస్ట్ గ్రీన్ అయిపోతుందా? రిక్వెస్ట్ విల్ బి కన్సిడర్డ్ టు బి గ్రీన్ ఓన్లీ వెన్ ఆల్ డేటా హస్ బీన్ మూవ్ టు వాట్? యాక్టివ్ టేబుల్. కాబట్టి వెన్ యూ రన్ ద DTP టు లోడ్ ఇన్ టు న్యూ టేబుల్, when you run the DTP which loads into new table, after it finishes loading into new table, the request will still stay as yellow like that, because it doesn't have any confirmation that the request is completely done. Request is completely done only when the data moves into what? Active table. So the request would be what? Yellow like that. So as part of next step, once I run the DDP, it finishes putting data into what? New table. Then what I would do is, then I'll convert the status of the request from yellow to green manually. Forcefully I'll convert the status to what? Green. Okay. Then after converting it to green, where is my data now? New data only. After setting it to green, I'll perform a process called activating the data in ODS. After executing DDP, we are going to perform an operation called activating the data in DSO. When we activate the data in the DSO, what happens? It takes the record from new table and puts the data into what? Active tables. It basically reads data from the new table and inserts the data into what? Active table. When you see inserting and it will read one record from the new table, and when it reads, it checks what is my key field value. Say customer and Kalamuth is my key field, right? Let's say I have got record as C100 January month. Then first it checks, do we already have a record in active table with customer C100 January month unda? Let's choose kuntum. If it is there, it takes this record and goes and overrides that record. If not, it adds as a new record. That's why I'm saying insert antunna. Did you understand this? It takes when you perform the process of activation of data in DSO, it actually reads a record from which table? New table. For this record, understand what is my key field value combination. What is my key fields here? Kunnar and month. Let's say CN and January undi. Then it checks in the active table, do we already have a record with the same key field value combination with customer CN and January unda chusuko. Unte this record will go and override that record. If not, it adds as a new record. So overwriting is happening basically when you activate the data in the DSO. So when it actually does creating a new record or overwriting a record, it maintains a complete log into change log table. Change log is actually like registry which holds all the changes what has happened in the DSO. So once it is activated, the data is moved into active table. Now we can do reporting on DSO. So to load into DSO, basically 4 steps. First I'll run info package to bring it to PSA. Then I'll run the DTP to load from PSA to new table DSO. Then I'll have to convert the request status to what? Green. Then I'll have to activate the data in the DSO. When I activate, what happens? It takes data from new table and moves into active table. When it's moving in, if it is new record, it adds as a new record. If it is already existing record, it goes and overwrites. Either it adds or overwrites, it maintains respect to entries in what? The change log to know the complete changes in the DSO. That's the point. And then when you do reporting, where does the data come from? Active table. Okay. Then from this DSO, can I load into another cube? Yes. So when I load data from this DSO to next level cube, it takes data from change log. Change log table nunchi data తీసుకుంటుంది పైకి. Reporting మాత్రం active table. So importance of change log is to handle the loads to next level data target from ODS to next level target. ODS నుంచి పైన ఇంకా పంపిన డేటా ఎక్స్ట్రా లోడ్ చేయాలంటే చేంజ్ లాగ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. రిపోర్టింగ్ చేయాలంటే యాక్టివ్ టేబుల్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓవర్ రైటింగ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే న్యూ టేబుల్ నుంచి పైకి వెళ్ళాలి యాక్టివేషన్ చేసినప్పుడు. అది కాన్సెప్ట్. ఓకేనప్పా. వన్ మోర్ పాయింట్. వెన్ యూ రన్ ద DTP, it will generate one request number. When you activate the data in the DSO also, it generates one request number. DTP run చేసినప్పుడు ఒక రిక్వెస్ట్ నెంబర్ వస్తుంది. ఓడేస్లో డేటా యాక్టివేట్ చేసినప్పుడు కూడా ఒక రిక్వెస్ట్ నెంబర్ జనరేట్ అవుతుంది మనకి. ఓకే, మనం ఏమంటామంటే DTP generate when you the request number when you run the DTP, we call that as loading request. The request number generate when you activate the data in the DSO, we call that as activation request. So in the change log table, will it hold the loading request or activation request? In the new table, will it have loading request or activation request? Loading request. అది ఇక్కడ రెండుతో రిక్వెస్ట్ ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ ఏమి లోడింగ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఉంటుంది, ఇక్కడ యాక్టివేషన్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ వన్ మోర్ పాయింట్, వన్స్ యూ లోడ్ విత్ DTP, data comes into new table. After activating, data is moved to what? After activation, do you still see data in new table? No. Okay, let's see how does it overwrite, how does it maintain entries in change log. We should have complete grip on it. Then nothing like it, ODS. Okay. So for you to make you understand, I'm just performing these 4 steps here always. Info package, DTP, QM status to OK, then what? Activated in QM status to OK and setting it to green. Yeah. Arthamaindana process. Let's start loading some sample data. Okay. Assume in the source they are creating transactions, and I'm keep on loading those transactions into DSO. ఏ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఎట్లా లోడ్ అయినప్పుడు ఎట్లా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుందని అబ్జర్వ్ చేయాలి డేటా. ఓకే, యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మై DSO is new, there is nothing, no record in it at all. Okay, so in the flat file I have one record, C100. What is this? January 2013, region what? South, 1000 amount INR. Let's say ఈ రికార్డ్ ఫస్ట్ క్రియేట్ అయిందండి, ఇంకా ఇవి లేవనుకో కింద. అప్పుడేం చేస్తాం, ఫ్లాట్ ఫైల్ రికార్డ్ వస్తుంది. అప్పుడేం చేస్తాం, యూ రన్ ఇన్ఫో ప్యాకేజ్, ఇవన్నీ చేస్తాం. యూ రన్ ఇన్ఫో ప్యాకేజ్, దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్? ఎక్కడికి వస్తుంది రికార్డ్? PSAకి వస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఐల్ రన్ వాట్? స్టాండర్డ్ DTP. దెన్ వాట్? దెన్ దిస్ విల్ గో ఇన్ టు వాట్? So when you run the DTP, will it have request number? So it will store this record in the new table with correspond to that request number. Or let's say R1 and them for now. Actually R1 పెట్టుకోదు, SID of that R1 పెట్టుకుంటుంది, but don't worry, R1 packet 1 record number 1 అంతే, finishes done. Okay, and the request will be yellow, so I'll set the request status to what? Green. Okay, then I'll do a next process called what? Activate the data in DSO1. అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంది? It goes to the new table, finds one, reads that record. ఈ రికార్డులో కీ ఫీల్డ్ వాల్యూస్ ఏమున్నాయి? వాట్ ఆర్ మై కీ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఇన్ మై ఓడిఎస్? కస్టమర్ అండ్ మంత్ ఆర్ మై కీ ఫీల్డ్స్. సో ఈ రికార్డులో కీ ఫీల్డ్ వాల్యూ ఏముంది? కాంబినేషన్ C100 అండ్ Jan 2013. Then it reads that key field value combination from here, goes to the active table, finds whether do we already have a record with the same key field combination. C100 Jan 2013 తో ఉందా లేదా అడుగుతాను క్వశ్చన్. లేదు. So if it's not there, what it does, it just takes this, adds as a new record, appends as a new record here. Okay boss, and after activation this data is removed. Okay, and then will it maintain respect entries in the change log? Change log ఏం వస్తుంది? యాక్టివేషన్ రిక్వెస్ట్ వస్తుందా? Because you've done loading once R1, you've done activation once, so activation request ఇలా ఉంటుంది, ODSR_123 ఆ పేరుతో ఉంటుంది. ప్యాకెట్ 1 రికార్డ్ నెంబర్ 1, ఫర్గెట్ అబౌట్ పార్టిషన్, నా పార్టిషన్ డిఫాల్ట్ 1. రికార్డ్ మొత్తం వస్తుంది. ఏం రికార్డ్ అది? C100 01/2013. రీజన్ ఏంది? సౌత్ అమౌంట్ INR. ఇక్కడ రికార్డు కూడా ఫిల్ చేస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిన రికార్డు కొత్త రికార్డు, ఓవర్ చేసిన రికార్డు కాబట్టి ఎన్ని పెడతాను. So record mode will tell you what kind of operation or what kind of change was done. So it formulates a new record into change log with record mode as N, indicating this was a new record entered into active table of your DSO. That's the concept. Yep. Let's say in the source system again, they just did next record again. Again I am loading, okay. Now this time again, execute info package, then will come to PSA. Execute DTP will come into what? New table of DSO. Let's say this enters what? New table. So let a new request now. You can think REQV on వస్తుంది. REQV 1 2 4. Next second 1 2 4 anta. Packet ID 1, record number 1. Okay boss. Next I'll set the queue status to what? Okay. Instead of doing this manual, I can enable one checkbox which will convert it to green automatically. Then what is the next process? Activate data in DS. When activate, what happens? It goes to new table, reads the key field value look at my vocabulary. It reads the key field value combination and checks, do we already have any record with the same key field value combination? No. So what should happen? Then if it is not there, it goes and adds as a new record. And then this record is deleted. After activation, my new table is cleaned up. Yes. Then will it maintain respect entries in the change log? Now again, second activation, one more request again. This is ODSR 1 2 4 అనుకో. Packet 1, record 1, partition 1. ఏంది 100 అన్నా? అట్లా అంతే అయిపోయింది, ఫ్లోలోకి వచ్చినారు అంతే. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ మోర్ రికార్డ్. ఇది రికార్డ్ అగైన్ you'll execute info package, record will come to PSA, again you'll do DTP, again it gets into what? new table. Then what should happen? If it is coming in new table, I should make it to sit into this. And let's say it says RE give you 1 to 5 this time, packet 1, record 1, yeah. Then I'll set the status to green, then I'll trigger the activation process. We can trigger the activation process. Then what goes here, checks, do we already have record with same key? So what should happen now? Remember, aim override చేస్తున్నాం. South same. 1000 is changing as, it takes this record and overrides this record. Right? And then will this cleaned up? Prasar pettukunno edani for us to understand. Okay. Can I write? Then we will get a new activation request now. Record 1, partition 1. ఎలా పెట్టుకుంటుంది చూడు, ఏం పెట్టుకుంటుందంటే can I put at least minus value in brackets? అది మైనస్ ఉంటుందన్న, మైనస్ ఎందుకు పెట్టినా ఇప్పుడు వస్తాను. రైట్, -1000 అని వచ్చి x సేమ్ ODS 5, but this time record number will be what? 2. What is the new record? Blank. Now I can clean this. So whenever I override the data, so when you add as a new record, it made as one entry in the changelog as n, but when you override an existing record, it made as 2 records in the changelog. What was the value before change? What was the value after change? But the value before change key figures will be made with inverted values. అంటే 1000 ఉంటే -1000తో స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ DSO it has load into next level queue from where? From change log కదా. సపోజ్ ఇదే రికార్డ్ లోడ్ అయితే 1000 -1000 5000 పోతే క్యూబ్కి ఏం పోతుందండి? If I load these 3 records to my queue, say 1000 -1000 5000, క్యూబ్లోకి ఏం పోతుంది? 5000. ఓడెస్ లేవుంది 5000. If I do reporting and ODS, what value will come? 5000. Cube 5000. Source system 5000. కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉందిలే. Whenever it adds new record, it maintains only one record as new image. N indicating new image. When it overwrites an existing record, it forms LUW 2 records. One is before image and blank ante after image. If you leave blank, is after change. X indicating value before change. The key figure values of before image will be stored with inverted values. Inverted ante minus unte positive, positive unte negative, reverse.
It is 500 means plus 500.
I'll show. Okay, was fine. Okay, you got this point? Yeah. Basically, even if I add my records from the change log, I should get the same value from my source, active table, everything. Okay. Okay, next record now. C100 Feb 2013 East 2500 INR. Info package data will come to PSA, DTP will get into what? New table. Will it have a request now? RE give you something like say 12611. Okay. Then what? Okay. Then what you will do? What? Activate data into the DSO. Do we already have record with same key field? Yes. What will happen now? What is happening? Amount is same. Only region was changed from north to. Okay. Up and again. will it formulate again records in this ODSR underscore 126. Will it have two records for this? ఏంది ఇది ఓల్డ్ ఏదైతే వాల్యూ ఉందో ఎక్స్ కొత్తది ఇదేనా బ్లాంక్ any doubt? It has taken the record. మీకు కనిపిస్తుంది బ్యాక్ రికార్డ్స్ కనిపిస్తున్నాయి. Now, so what is happening? Whenever there is a change, whenever a record overwrites it, it holds the value before change as before image, and the latest value what is overwritten as new after image. Blank indicating after image. For before image records, the key figures will be stored with inverted values. Positive unte negative, negative unte positive. Okay, Nanda? ఇప్పుడు నేను after this is cleaned up, right? If I do reporting on ODS, what it shows under what? ఏంది అంటారు ఈస్ట్. సోర్స్లో ఏముంది ఈస్ట్ అంతే, రైట్? లెట్స్ లోడ్ దీస్ టూ రికార్డ్స్. మల్టిపుల్ రికార్డ్స్ లోడ్ చేయొచ్చా? Again you will run info package, it will come to PSA, again you will run DTP, then what? Record number will be 2. Again what you will do? Again you will say activate this. So customer CNet Jan already record is, it goes on overrides. Customer CNet to Feb is already there, it will go on override now. దీనికి ఏంది చేంజ్? South is getting changed as North. ఇదేంది? The value 2005 is getting changed to what? 7,000. Can I go and override them? ODSR underscore 127. So will it formulate 4 records? What was it? C1 idana. This is a value before change, right? So my before change should have inverted values. So set that as X. What is the value after change? Actually it is we moved to what? North. Latest record. Blank. Now what about this to February? It is now what? 2005 before change. I'll put as what? X. Latest in the and blank indicate after. You're getting this? Now you either look at data anywhere you want, it has to match this. In the source ultimately and after activation this will be cleaned up. Source లో ఏముందన్నా C100 Jan North 5,000 కదా. Let's see this C100 Jan North 5,000. So does my value the DSO match? If it means when I do reporting on this DSO, it is going to get data from what? Active table. So does my report and my source is matching out? Yes. Now let's see whether my changelog data matches to my file data or not. Let's filter for what? Only Jan data. Add all the values of Jan. What is value it's showing? 5,000. 5,000 for what? ఈ సౌత్ 1000తో క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోయింది. సౌత్ 5,000 minus 5,000 క్యాన్సిల్ అవుట్. నో నార్త్ 5,000. వాట్ ఈస్ సోర్స్? నార్త్ 5,000. కరెక్ట్ మ్యాచ్ అవుతుందా? రైట్. నా గో విత్ ఫెబ్. నార్త్ క్యాన్సిల్ అవుట్, ఈస్ట్ క్యాన్సిల్ అవుట్, అల్టిమేట్లీ ఈస్ట్ వాట్? మ్యాచ్ అవుతుందా? దట్స్ హౌ ఇట్ ఓవర్ రైడ్స్ ద డేటా ఇన్ ODS. Clear? So shall I create a ODS now? Same data we will load from the platform and see the same observation in system.